Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here is a message for any of you watching this. I have a couple things to talk about, and it's mostly about the general slow collapse of the organism that we've created. It's very interesting to watch. So I've been watching the Whistling Diesel case. I don't know if you guys are aware. You can go to Whistling Diesel, the guy who just got arrested for tax evasion. And then I'm going to tell that story and then some other stories that are operating in the news right now. And then we'll get a bigger picture view and see why those things are happening. So I don't know if you guys are aware, and I didn't know this until this happened, but you can start a Montana LLC and purchase and register a car in Montana because Montana doesn't have any sales tax. So I just watched The American Attorney, and he kind of outlined the whole thing, and I didn't know a lot of the backdrop of the legal thing, ways that people are doing this. But it's like almost half of all the exotic cars in the United States are purchased in Montana because you can start a Montana LLC and register it underneath that LLC, whether you're a resident or a non-resident of Montana. So like half of the registrations, like almost all the exotic cars in the United States are registered to a Montana LLC because you can be a non-resident. Now states are pushing back that want you to register, your car in their state if you're using it primarily in their state. Well, Tennessee decided to pick on the local YouTuber because he purchased a Ferrari in Montana and destroyed it in Texas, but he never really used it in Tennessee. But all of a sudden, he got arrested like 3 weeks ago because he for tax evasion, and it was a criminal prosecution. They didn't send him notice that he owed taxes. It was pretty bizarre. And so Tennessee doesn't have a leg to stand on, but he faces something like 1 to 6 years in prison on 2 counts, both him personally and his business, Whistling Diesel LLC. And yeah, very interesting. Why would the system? Because they're not getting their money in their pocket. That's all it is. It's a state revenue system. They're saying that he didn't pay his taxes, but he got no notice, right? He didn't have any option to dispute whether or not he owed taxes or not. He just got slammed with a criminal prosecution instead of a civil prosecution. Very dark. And this is what happens when we give too much power to an entity to control over us. The word government means control. And you're giving power over something to control your actions. Because we don't believe that we can control ourselves, obviously. If you don't believe that you can control ourselves, then you have to give power over to somebody else to control somebody else because you're afraid that that person or entity can hurt you. That's what governments are there for, because of fear. It is a fear-based entity. So I'll share with you guys what a message that I got this morning, and it was really sad to see this. But it doesn't surprise me because Africa has been so messed up in the past. So I got a picture of a young boy who he's sitting in a hospital bed, and he's got bandages wrapped around his head. And he's got a head injury and an abdominal injury. He says, "Good morning, Brother Brian. Today, this serious emergency. 1, my kid is getting an accident on the road by a car, and I'm in hospital right now, and Robert is not talking. He got serious wound on his stomach and leg broken. We are so scared and worried for him. But unfortunately, doctor is asking me for $500 to start him treatment and said that at least we can pay $100 to start surgery to him, please. And kindly, I'm on my kindness requesting you to save Robert's life with $100 and the balance I'll post on my social media. You can try to collect the balance for him, please." So we've got entities that are refusing to help a child who is injured because their caregivers don't have enough money. That's why the systems that we created don't help you. They don't help you, right? our medical industry just kills you because all it's doing, it's for profit. If it wasn't for profit, and this is, and I teach this on my YouTube channel. If you guys watch my YouTube channel, you understand already. But the reason that those things exist is because people don't create and be open to receive. And that forces you to grow because you get to understand what you're receiving a lot more when the energy you put out is what you get back. Now, if you charge for a service, if you sell something and can convince somebody and manipulate somebody's emotional state to say that you need this because they're unaware of whether or not they do or not, and you can convince them that they do, you kind of put on a mask, right? You're manipulating somebody's emotional state to say that they need this thing. Now, this gets to very deep issues when it comes to the system that we're living in. It's all control based. So you're actually trying to control somebody's emotional state through fear in order to pull energy from that person. That's why money exists. You got to have this thing or you're not going to be okay. Now, if you travel a path where you're creating and being open to receive, then it forces you to grow. Because if you're not creating anything that's good for your environment, then you're not going to receive anything. Yeah, if you don't know how to show love and care for one another and support one another, but set strong boundaries so you're not, just taking care of everybody around you, and not taking care of yourself, then right, you got to have balance there. And so we don't live in a balance. It is balanced. You're going to see the scales balance. I just read an article on LinkedIn about how Oracle's investors are a little bit worried about Oracle. Oracle is the biggest software company in the world. And right now, Oracle is not meeting investors' expectations. How terrible. It's awful, right? Who would even, but the reason is because people are pouring all their energy into things that are unconscious. Why would we pour all our energy into software? We want to pour our energy into one another. And if we pour our energy into each other in a way where we're open to receive, then it forces us to grow. Because if what we're receiving is not what we want, then we have to think about, okay, well why am I not getting back what I feel like I deserve? And the real reason is that, nobody owes us anything. And when an entity comes to you and says that you owe them something, when they haven't really done anything for you, that's toxic. Right? What did Tennessee do for Whistling Diesel? All they do is just send criminal indictments his way and just want their revenue for his personal rig that he never even used in their state. Just absolutely right. It's total insanity. And so we're going to continue to witness those systems, and it all starts with the individual and what your belief system is. If you believe that somebody owes you anything, then you're creating a judgment in the mind, and it means that you're creating a debt for somebody, which means that your debts are not forgiven either, because that's an energy that you're projecting onto your environment. Right? Nobody owes me anything. You just have to love one another and be open to receive. It's a really simple thing to talk about from a spiritual perspective. And, many in that there are a lot of dysfunctions in the quote unquote spiritual community where people are focused on external things instead of focusing on the health of the human heart, because the heart can provide anything for the body, but it's not attached to what it receives. The heart pumps oxygen and blood into the body, and then whatever comes back is just what it has to deal with. It can't control what comes back to it. And if our minds create a control mechanism of what comes back, then we're killing ourselves unconsciously. Period. Anytime you're trying to control anything out there, the only thing that we should ever do is trying to control ourselves. Simple message. I'm going to pull one card, see what the card says. Well, we got this one on the bottom. Right. I'm looking at my camera here. We got the Ten of Cups. It's on the bottom. Happy family. With the moon on the cut. Happy family when things are unknown, right? We're walking through darkness and watching all of this play itself out. By February this year, there's going to be, and you can feel it in the group collective, there's a lot of tensions building and there are conflicts because people are all trying to charge money for services, but the public is having less and less income and less trust in that system. So all of those things are slowly breaking down over time. And we'll see new structures form this spring. They have to, because if they don't, well, they will. That's how nature works. Old things die, and then new things are born. But the dying process can look pretty painful and ugly when it happens, especially for us as individuals, when we have to die to old thought forms and ways that, and if you can really look at the bigger picture, then you'll be in a much better place. And that's why meditation practices and doing the things for yourself are so good, because you realize that you don't really ever need anything from anybody. All you need to do is be able to show your love for one another, and then you'll get everything that you ever need. And continue to create something that embodies those concepts. Love you guys. Simple message today on a Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well. And there's no reason to have a broken heart, right? Everything will be fine. So, love you. Have a great day. Catch you on the next one. Bye. Oh, I got